Hi, I'm Jen. I'm an occupational therapist from Children First, and today we're going to be talking about sitting posture and positioning for someone who's sitting at a chair, at a table, so that they can sit comfy and relaxed and they can do their activities. So I have my friend Candace with me here. She's my guinea pig. And we can see that Candace is sitting in a way that's probably not so easy for her to feel safe and stable, as well as she can't really reach all of the toys that she has ready to go there. So yeah, Candace can't reach. So we're gonna look at step-by-step of how to move from this position to something that's gonna be working a little bit better. But first we're gonna talk a little bit more about what is not so great about this position and what we can improve on. So the first thing that we're gonna look at is the chair and the table. So we're gonna look at the chair and see how much distance it is between the chair and the table there. And so right now we can see there's a lot of gap here. So again, Candace can't really reach the things that she wants to play with. So that's something that we might want to look at fixing. The next thing that we're going to look at is Candace's head. So we can see Candace's head doesn't really look like it's looking at the things that she wants to play with. As well, it's kind of tilted to the side. So that might be something as well we're going to look at improving on. The next thing is Candace's chin. So we can sort of see Candace's chin under there. And it looks like it's not really in a position that's neutral. It's kind of tucked in. It might be impacting her breathing a little bit. It might be putting a little bit of strain on her neck. So that's something as well we can look at. Next thing, Candace's shoulders. So we're gonna look at her shoulders. So this one looks like it's hiked up a lot more than the other one. They don't really look relaxed. They might feel a little bit tense. Are your shoulders feeling a little tense? Yeah. So we're gonna look at improving that a little bit. The next thing, Candace's arms. What are her arms doing? Well, it looks like they're definitely not playing with their toys. Her one arm's kind of draped over the side here. Her other arm is holding onto the chair as well. So we're gonna make sure that that's something that we work on as well. Part of Candace's arms are her wrists. This one especially, we can see it is bent back. That's not really letting all those nerves and blood vessels work properly the way they should. So we're gonna wanna make sure we make that a little bit better so her body feels just right. The next thing is Candace's hands. Like I mentioned before, her hands aren't being used to hold on to the activities and play with the toys that she wants to play with. Her hands are actually trying to hold on to the chair so she can stay upright. So we're gonna wanna make sure we look at that as well. The next thing, Candace's back. What can we see about Candace's back? It looks really rounded. It's even leaning and slouching kind of on the seat. It's helping her at least to stay on the chair, but sometimes we even see kids that look like they're gonna slide right out of the chair because their back is slouched so much. Next thing, Candace's hips, knees, and feet. So it looks like there's a little bit of a gap here. She's got one foot underneath there. The other foot doesn't even look like it's touching the ground. So we're gonna look to make sure that we're gonna make the seat fit her a little bit better so that all of those body positions, they're working the way they should and her legs aren't tucked underneath of her. Like I mentioned about Candace's feet, that's something really important. They look like they were swinging a little bit before, which is good for movement, but sometimes it makes it so she feels a little wobbly. So we're gonna wanna make her feel a little bit more stable. The last thing we're just looking at is everything kind of balanced. One side versus the other side. Does she look a little bit off balance? Does she feel unbalanced? Do you feel unbalanced at all? Mm-hmm. Yeah. So we're gonna wanna look at that to make it a little bit better. What can we do to make Candace's position go from this to something that's a little bit better for her to sit at the table so she can do her activities? We're gonna go through each of these steps again and we're gonna fix them one by one. So the first one, we're gonna look at that chair and table. So we're gonna wanna make her chair move in a little bit closer to the table so she can reach the things that she wants to reach and she doesn't have to lean too far. So Candace, I'm gonna have you move your chair a little bit closer to the table. A little bit more. There we go. So we want a little bit of a gap between where her belly is and the table, but not too much of a gap where she needs to lean forward a lot. Perfect. Next thing we're gonna look at is Candace's head. Still looks like it's a little bit uneven. So we're gonna want her head to be nice and upright, right in the middle of the body and looking forward because that's where her toys are. So we're gonna fix your head. So we're gonna have your head go up. Perfect. And you can see your toys now. You're ready to start to play. Candace's chin as well, we're gonna make sure that it's in a neutral position so that it's not stuck out too much and it's not tucked in too much, so she's able to breathe really easily. So let's see, Candace, just move your hair back a little bit. Perfect. Perfect. Candace's shoulders, we're gonna go from that hiked up one side to the other side. We're gonna go to something that's a little bit more relaxed. So Candace looks like both of her shoulders are pretty easy. They're not tensed up like this, and they're not pushed down too much. So Candace, how do your shoulders feel?
Better.
Better, perfect. So Candace's arms as well, we had saw before, her arms were sort of off to the side and uneven. So we're gonna make sure her arms are resting at their sides. We don't want her to have her arms up too high, and we also don't want her arms stuck down too low. So Candace, yep, your arms look like they're nice and at your sides, so you're not using up too much extra energy to keep them out to the sides. And your elbows, we're gonna have you, so your elbows, if you need to, or your forearms, can be on the table, just kind of resting gently. Perfect. So because we have her now at that right position here, so we're gonna look at her wrists. Can I have you push your sleeve back just a bit? Perfect. So we're gonna see her wrists are more neutral. It's not that bent wrist anymore. So her wrist is more neutral, so that lets the blood flow and everything work properly in her hands so that she can use them a little easier. Her hands in general, we can see she's able to start playing with her toys. She's not having to hold on to that chair anymore. So that's exactly what we want to see, that she's able to play with her toys. Candace looks like she sat all the way back in the chair now. We can see that she's able to use the backrest. This chair has a natural curve to it to kind of support the natural curve on her back. But if we needed something to kind of fill in any empty space there, we could put a really firm cushion or a piece of foam or something like a little backrest so that it fills it in. So if she needed to take a break, she can sit her back against it. Candace's hips, knees, and feet. So when we look down here, we're gonna see her hips are like an L shape. So that's a 90-degree angle. Her knees are about a 90-degree angle as well, and her ankles are a 90-degree angle. But I can see, hopefully you can see, that there's a little bit of a gap underneath here. So we're gonna address that in the next step. So Candace's feet, like I said, they aren't quite touching the floor. So she needs a little bit of extra room for something underneath. So something stable that's not gonna move around, that's gonna go underneath her feet so that they aren't hovering and she doesn't feel as wobbly. So we have a footrest here, so we're gonna try that. There we go. How's that feel?
Better.
So we're almost done. We're just gonna do a double check over to make sure if there's anything else extra that we need. And so we're gonna make sure as well that everything is balanced. So we're gonna make sure that she's not leaning still one to one side, that everything looks like she's able to use both sides of her body together. How do you feel for balance?
I feel good.
So if you remember, we went from something that was not so great to something that works a lot better so she can play with her activities. For a child, I have kind of a picture that shows what you would look for as well. Again, we're looking at having that body nice and stable and supported and making sure that they're able to do the activities that they need. But remembering, kids don't need to sit for too long usually. They need to still move their bodies. So that's all we have for today. Thanks for watching.